about what we're here. Let's talk about the fight with Diego Pacheco. That's next. How are you preparing for that fight and how all that came out? Like, I
We've
mean,
been
how
in
did
the
you got with that fight and all that stuff? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, we've been in the gym. We were possibly looking to fight him back in January. Obviously, Steve
Mm-hmm.
Nelson got the fight. But yeah, I wasn't really. The timing was really off. I had just had my baby end of November. Also, I had been away from my family for about 7 or 8 months that year in 24. So I got done with my fight in January in 20 yeah in 24. And then for a long time we were going to fight this guy, and the
Mm-hmm.
dates kept kind of going back and back and back. All the while I had been training this whole time. So I just told him, it's just not the right timing. I love that fight, but it's just not the right timing. And now, he got done in January, and now we're here. So, I'm grateful to Matchroom and Team Pacheco for giving me the opportunity. And I promise everybody it's going to be a tremendous fight. And I've been in the gym last few months, so we're going to be really solid and ready to go.
I want to ask you two things here. With the Pacheco thing. Actually, about 2, 3 weeks ago, I was in a boxing show also with your manager Hector, and
Mhm.
we were talking about boxing. We were talking about you, and then Jose Benavides came into the show. Jose Benavides Senior, right? And we were talking about the fight. He said that he thinks that Pacheco was gonna knock you out in 5 rounds. Hector got a little bit overheated, and we were like, okay, where are you basing that this is gonna happen when the last fighter Nelson almost end up knocking out Pacheco in the last round? And then we go back and forth, back and forth. And one of the things that got overheated was because he said in a previous show, I don't remember, not in that one at that moment, but he said something that you backed up of the fight in January. So Hector got again overheated because it's like, hey, I told you that we wanted the fight, but we Trevor just had recently his kid. There were some issues there. He needed to be taking care of his family. So I don't appreciate it that you come back here and say that we don't have any balls and that we didn't want to take the fight when you know that that's what we're looking for, an opportunity, right? So then he kind of like, he felt the heat because I was also there, and I was like, hey, well, I mean, look at this. I mean, like you said that you're the one that are giving them the opportunity to McCumby. So why is he gonna back up of an opportunity of a lifetime, especially if he's coming out of a loss, just because? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Stop talking bullshit because things happen. It happened to your own son that he had to end up going to a different route. So that things happen in boxing. How does these comments from the other side are working on you? Are you keeping this as a motivation, as fuel to the fire? What do you have to say about it?
There's nothing that's gonna get under my skin. They can
Okay.
say this and that or whatever. It doesn't get under my skin, man. I'm training my ass off. I'm dropping sparring partners. If they want to talk, they can talk. And I've known Senior for a while, so it's all good. He's from Phoenix, and we grew
Yeah.
up. We grew up together. I sparred both his sons and everything else. So it probably will be a very interesting lead up. Like I'm very excited to just chit chat with everybody, and yeah, it'll be fun, man. It's gonna get interesting.
I think it's gonna be great. I mean, I can't wait for that because I know he likes to talk a lot of crap. And Hector was telling him like, well, the difference between before and now, that I'm not Eddie Reynoso and Trevor is not Canelo. We're not just gonna let you talk and just gonna look to the other side. We're gonna come here and face you face you face to face and make sure that you tell the truth and not tell any lies. So that's kind of like when he got very overheated there. And I mean, I think people love that. People love the build up, and then especially when they know that you're gonna, you're gonna give them a good show. So now going into that, that transition, I want you to tell me a little bit about the relationship with Hector and how did Hector got into your life, and how is that relationship between you and him and Ferco Box?
Yeah, I met Hector back like 2020 when I was coming back over at DLX Boxing, and he saw me work quite a bit, and
He told me the story.
yeah, he actually, yeah, he was like, man, I'd love to manage you, but at the time, I had somebody working with me, and it wasn't the right timing. But yeah, again, God has mysterious ways of just making things happen, and yeah, for me to meet Hector, man, it was amazing, amazing, man. Like he's a great person. I'm a great person, so we're a great fit, man. We're both on the same page. We have the same ideology, like just everything. He's a believer in the Lord, and we're man, we're gonna really shake some shit up. We're gonna really do some big things this year.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt. I think you're in great hands. I never heard of a fighter talking bad about Hector, and it's not because he's my friend, but I seen it in the best moments. When he was getting a new world champion, and I'm seeing it in the bad moments when he was very close. I was there in Cancun when he was at the fight of Rocky Hernandez and Oshaki Foster. And bro, that was one of the times that for me, it made me look at the other perspective on what is boxing on the back end. You know what I mean? Because everybody sees just what it happens in the ring, but they don't see, what happens after the fight, the after thing. And you have the two sides of the coin, the loss and then the victory. So I know that you're in great hands because he cares a lot about his fighters. So you're blessed on that side. And just to wrap up with Pacheco, what are your preparations? What are you doing for this fight? What do you think it will be different than, for example, the fight with Caleb Plant? How much did you learn from that you could use in the Pacheco fight?
I think ultimately, I I've been getting a lot of flack about my gas tank and this and that, and my gas tank is tremendous. I had few little stats with certain people that just I didn't have a lot of mental clarity going into the fight. I you know so I think some of my runs can be a lot better, and I know my gas tank is going to be tremendous for this fight. Tremendous. My mind is clear, and I know what I got coming, and I'll tell you what, man. Like I'm gonna fight my ass off this whole camp and in the fight, man, because this fight, this is everything to me. This
Oh yeah.
is life. This is life or death for me. So I can't really say the same for him. I don't think he feels that, but for me,
It's
man,
an
this
advantage for you, you know what I mean? Because that's the bad part of boxing, when you have to go and do it all over again, even that you have the upper part, and it's hard, to have that motivation. But when you are on the other side and you are the motivated guy, you are the perfect, that's the perfect antidote for you to succeed. You know what I mean?
yeah, no doubt. So yeah, this fight is everything to me. My gas tank is going to be there. I'm I don't plan on going 12, but if I got to go 12, I'll go 12. And
I mean,
it's
you're
going to
in
be
training
important.
in Vegas, right?
Yep.
How is that into your advantage? I mean, are you getting a lot of sparring partners there? Like a lot of, because I mean, that's a good part of Vegas, right? That it has a lot of different styles. I mean, I don't think this style is gonna be too difficult for you, because I feel that Pacheco, it's a guy that always likes to go and fight too. And if you push him, he's gonna go back to his root, which is Mexican style and fight, and that's kind of like your bread and butter. So, but I mean, I feel that you can definitely learn a lot from the sparring sessions over there in Vegas, right? Because there's a lot of quality.
Yeah, definitely. And Hector's got a lot of connections where we can get more sparring than even our last camp. Obviously, we're going to be looking for. We have a few guys that we're going to be bringing in. Actually, a guy that I used for my last camp as well. So yeah, we're going to be dialed in, feeling good, and yeah, I'm very excited, man. Can't wait.
Great.